It is the Emerald type, making an appearance all the way back from the days of Medarot 5. It is ERD00 Teodora Beryl, with a kit of Gunpowder Guard, Double Rebirth, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Brilliance, which restores a small amount of HP to all parts when charging Metaforce. Now, unfortunately, as amazing as Rebirth can be in a pinch, it unfortunately is also a very niche skill. So even if it is considered high meta, it is a very hard to use skill, and having it for 2 arms honestly does really hurt Beryl's overall viability. Gunpowder Guard is a defense-based skill that will allow Teodora Beryl to intercept any and all blows incoming to herself or her allies at the cost of her tanking the blow, essentially in this case to her face. The one drawback, the one advantage to it, however, is the fact that because it is a specific guard, in this case Gunpowder, it will negate any gunpowder-based moves. This includes Missile, Napalm, and I believe Big Beef's Meteor also counts in this, as moves that will be negated and rendered at 0 damage. So in the particularly and exceptionally rare sense that you may need to use Gunpowder Guard, it is a pretty solid skill to use, but otherwise I would not recommend or encourage using it at all. Rebirth is probably one of the current meta and highest viable healing skills in the game currently, as what it does offer is the ability to revive any fallen ally back on the field at 10% HP to all parts. So if say for instance if you were down on the wire and pretty much anything was guaranteed to turn the fight in the enemy's favor, that Rebirth will allow you to bring back an ally on the field so that you can maybe turn the tides, even if they are nearly dead at that point. Having 10% HP back on all parts is honestly better than not having them at all, especially if the person that goes down may be your ailment fighter or even your dedicated nuker. The Flight Legs, however, do kind of provide a little bit of a forgiveness in this sense, as she will be naturally fast and a little tricky to land hits on. But the leg ability of Brilliance also does provide a little further forgiveness, as whenever she's not protecting allies or reviving them, the passive HP healing when charging Metaforce does allow her to stay particularly healthy in particularly rare instances. But across the board, as a pure set, I would rate Teodora Beryl a pretty solid 3 out of 10. For the reasons stated above, Gunpowder Guard is probably one of the lesser used, if not the least used, types of guards possible. And having double Rebirth, well, having Rebirth itself is great. Having it on both arms is not really a very not very viable, nor is it a really good idea on the field. As mixed parts, however, I would rate her significantly higher at a 6 out of 10, because having Rebirth, honestly, is always something you want to aim for in high meta teams. Because as I mentioned, having someone back at 10% HP is better than not having them back at all. So in this sense, I would encourage using an arm at the very least if you're going to use Teodora Beryl. Maybe even the legs, depending on the particular instance, but that's about as far as it would go for her overall viability.